All right, welcome everyone. Welcome. Apologies about the lateness here, but yeah, let's get straight into it. So today's stream, we're going to be talking about the state of the markets and the main swing trade idea from this week's CFO Swinger Watch Report, which is ticker symbol BSX as seen here. And if you guys don't know what this CFO Swinger Watch Report is, make sure you guys click on that second link down below in the description box to learn more. Again, it's the second link in the description box down below to learn more about what the report is. And again, if you like what you see about what the report is, you guys have the option. You have 4 different tiers to choose from, but that is where you guys can become an official reader of the CFO Swinger Watch Report, and that will also give you automatic access to the private CFO Discord chat room. All right, so with all that being said, let's first begin with the markets. Okay, so if you guys are following me on Instagram, I posted earlier on my story about how we were practically, literally actually, on point with how the markets would be behaving last Sunday. Alright, so I literally predicted this through my analysis, through my technical analysis, and by using my specific SMAs or simple moving averages. So let me explain what I mean by that. So last Sunday, I gave my readers, my CFO Swinger Watch Report readers that, we've gotten 2 daily 50 SMA so far, and that is my dark blue line here. Okay, and these 2 retests were a sign of caution. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be seeing a massive, pullback or correctional move to the downside, but whenever we see 2 retests so far on a daily 50 SMA on the overall markets, whether it be the S&P 500 or even just on NASDAQ or ticker symbol QQQ, it just means that we need to be looking out for potential 3rd and 4th retests in the future. And if we do get the 3rd and 4th retest, and the reason why I'm combining the 3rd and 4th retests together and pairing them up is that whenever we do get a 3rd retest, that usually means that we'll get a pretty quick following of a 4th retest on this major daily 50 SMA. So, and I kind of gave more on the 3rd and 4th retest as well, because I said if we get a very, very quick 4th retest after the 3rd retest has already occurred, for example, like this week, okay, so today and last Friday's candlestick where we had, so today's candlestick, hopefully we didn't cut out here. Okay, we're back. So again, as I was saying, for example, like today's candlestick and the last Friday's candlestick, we practically had a consecutive back-to-back retest on the daily 50 SMA. Now, what does this mean? Okay, so I'll finally explain to you guys, right, as I've already explained to my report readers last Sunday, and what this could mean. All right, so now I'm able to finally tell you guys what this means, since it has actually occurred. So with this 3rd and 4th retest, it automatically gives more leniency towards sellers to be more confident and to smash the price down whenever we see pops on intraday price action or any other pops throughout any other trading days. For example, like today, where we saw a nice early morning strength off of a gap down open, and we continued to move up higher, and ultimately this move up higher was essentially exit liquidity or overall liquidity for short sellers to come in and push the price back down. And interestingly enough, right, we were essentially allowing more movement from my daily 10 and my daily 21 SMAs to the point where we saw the daily 10 SMA crossing below the daily 21 SMA, giving us a nice bearish crossover here, right? So this is our official first bearish crossover that involves multiple retests of the daily 50 SMA, and obviously today's closure below the daily 50 SMA. This is the first close below the daily 50. Now, we have seen plenty of these bearish crossovers of the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMAs multiple times. I mean, For example, one was right here back in mid-October, right? And this has occurred multiple times as well in the past. All right, I was trying to mention the different times here, but the reason being, well, the reason why I think this was a very significant bearish crossover is that, well, this was also when we had our first very close in proximity retest of the daily 50 SMA as seen here and indicated by this white arrow. So with this kind of contraction happening here, okay, it allowed bulls to come back and retake the price very, very quickly. And obviously there's a bunch of other catalysts that allowed the price to kind of regain its uptrend. But in this case, right, we've seen in just this area alone, right, we have 3 retests on the daily 50 SMA, with today concluding with a closer below the daily 50 SMA. So very obviously and very clearly, we have something that's completely different with this bearish crossover on the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMA. And so we have this kind of aligning similar non-contradicting signals from the markets, from the market's SMAs here, my daily 10, my daily 21, and my daily 50 SMAs, and the overall price action as well. So we have to be very, very careful as to looking for specific long trades or specific breakout trades to the upside, because the markets are looking fairly weak, right? And the markets are looking to potentially start a new pullback or even a new correctional phase where we go down at least -5% or more, right? -5 to -10% is the textbook correctional percentage range that we want to be looking for to identify as a market correction. So this is pretty interesting to see here. And today's closure, again, just gives more confidence to the shorts compared to the longs, and it provides more liquidity for shorts to get more confident and to continue to pile in at these current market highs, right? And there's a lot of room for shorts to go down, to push the price downwards. And for example, I have very, very specific targets here, and the first major target for any continued move down will be 654.50, and this is a major support level that we were able to form back in combined price actions back in September and October. But if you break this and if you breach this support level, there's going to be an even further amount of selling going on, as even more shorts will try to come in, and as more longs continue to exit at this specific support level, right? And that will eventually lead the price towards the 646.50 whole number level. That will be our next significant support level. And last but not least, okay, I think this is kind of the most important level. All right, so we now have to go on the weekly time frame. But if we were to see a major correction from these highs all the way up into the year end, all right, we will most likely have to retest this 608.50 to 611 previous demand area, and I've highlighted this multiple times mid this year, okay, and it would just make technical sense from this perspective to kind of do this, right, where we see this nice move down and then again, a nice pivot after a nice retest, and at least a few weeks or few months of consolidation around this previous all-time high demand area and a previous all-time high resistance area as well. So the 608.50 to 611 will become very, very prevalent and significant once again if we do see a continued correctional move downward. Okay, so this is one of those few things where we need to be looking out for in the short term and in the long term perspectives, and keep in mind of that long term perspective as well, because sometimes you get too ingrained in the short-term time frames that you don't really see that the markets have been breaking down and have been in a correctional phase, right? So please watch out for this potential move down to 608.50 to 611, because again, we haven't even retested this area after we broke above it to confirm it as a new area of demand or a new area of support. So 608.50 to 611 is a very critical and crucial area to be looking out for when you are looking for a potential bottom or pivot, as well, if and only if we get a correction and move down. Does that make sense, guys? All right, perfect. I see you guys' reactions there. Awesome. Okay, so I think that's kind of it for the overall market analysis and kind of a market update and kind of my reasons why I mentioned the daily 50 SMA last Sunday and last week's CFO Swinger Watch Report, and kind of give you guys the significance behind my specific analysis and my prediction and why it kind of, well, came through, right, with the price action. So again, things are looking a little bit different from the previous short-term daily SMA crossovers on my daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs, because we've had pretty rapid consecutive back-to-back retests on the daily 50 SMA, and now officially today, this closure below the daily 50 SMA. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so that's a quick summary in the last, I think the last like 10 minutes or so. Okay, so again, if you guys are just joining in now, well, welcome guys. I see some people coming in now. If you guys are just joining in, I just finished my market analysis here, and you guys, I really recommend you guys to go back to the replay and watch my market analysis and summary and kind of my thoughts as to where the market can go in the short to mid to long-term future. So please go ahead and take a look at the replay. You do not want to miss what I've said tonight in this live stream about the markets. Okay, so please watch the replay. Okay, so with that being said, let's take a look at the official swing trade idea for this week from the report itself, and that is BSX, Boston Scientific Corporation. Obviously, this might be a little bit antithetical to what I've just said about the markets, right? Because I said, you know, it's most likely not a good time to looking out for any type of breakout trades or any type of longs, extreme longs to the upside where you're anticipating, you know, very quick returns to the upside, right? However, there are exceptions, as there always is with the markets, right? There's always a nuance, because the markets aren't always a dichotomy. It's not always a black and white. It's not always a bid and ask, right? Because when we have these market situation scenarios where we have overall weakness in one particular group, for example, for now, it's obviously going to be the tech sector, right? And obviously all the quote unquote innovative groups that we've seen absolutely riding to the top side, to the stratosphere in the last couple of months, all cooling off now, right? We're starting to see this market rotation, this sector rotation, and even just overall money rotation out of these growth tech stocks and into more of the value, right? More to the value groups. And that specific, well, one specific group that has been getting a lot of love is the overall MedTech group, right? So the medical devices, the medical technology group, and BSX is a clear leader in this specific, very specific group in the overall healthcare sector, right? And this medtech industry, it has been burgeoning for the last 2-3 years, and BSX has been a very good beneficiary of that, and they're very well positioned from a fundamental perspective, which again, I've given my entire fundamental analysis on BSX in the report itself. It's a complete 3-page research paper on BSX, basically. It's a nice little section across from the overall report. So if you guys really want to read that 3-pager on BSX, make sure you guys read it, right? And become a reader, obviously, if you're not a reader. So, and before I move on, make sure you guys check the second link down below in the description box to become a reader tonight. Okay, so again, If you are not a reader of the CFO Swinger Watch Report, I highly recommend you guys to become a reader. I can 1000% guarantee you guys will not regret joining, even if the markets are not moving in our favor, right? Which obviously is always going to be to the upside, right? To the top side. But again, we're always watching the markets flow, and we're always watching every single sector, and this is the reason why we're going to be able to make it out of any market correction or market pullbacks without having to destroy our trading accounts, right? And that is the entire goal here at Charts Focus 1. And that's the reason why, and here's a great segue back to the ticker symbol here, but that's the reason why I have chosen BSX, because again, the overall MedTech, overall healthcare sector, right? So the MedTech industry and the overall healthcare sector has been showing a lot of relative strength and a lot of money inflow for the past, I would say around the past 2.5 to 3 weeks or so. And this strength is looking to pay off soon, because a lot of the people who have been very concentrated into the tech area are now coming out of the tech positions and pouring the money back into the very unloved value sectors like the healthcare sector, and specifically in the medtech industry. And again, BSX, as I've said before, is a very major leader in the medical technology industry, and specifically the medical devices industry, and even more specifically, this company specializes in developing, manufacturing, and selling minimally invasive surgical robots and solutions to treat and to minimize pain for patients who are currently undergoing some type of disease, or just overall for pain management. Okay, so for BSX, okay, just from a technical perspective, right? So I'm not going to go into the fundamental perspective and analysis, because again, I did an entire 3-pager on that in the report, so you guys can read it if you want. And again, you guys can just become a reader of the CFO Swinger Watch Report to get that complete 3-pager section of the overall CFO Swinger Watch Report. Okay, but from a technical perspective, this looks absolutely amazing, right? We have a very nice overall massive bull flag here. Right, so what we have is a nice ascending support trend line that has that is connected by these two pivots. Okay, right over here, and we have a nice flat resistance level at 107 that makes up the overall bull flag. And now the price is starting to consolidate at the upper ranges of this bull flag. And when I say upper ranges, it's kind of a wide range, but it's from 101.50 to 107. Okay, and from my SMA perspective on the weekly time frame, things are looking a little bit shaky here, but I really like the fact that the price was able to have a nice V-shaped recovery, not a complete V-shaped recovery, obviously, but this V-shaped recovery, or I guess I should say half-shaped, half V-shaped recovery, was able to bring the price back over the weekly 50 SMA, allowing my weekly 10 SMA to stop its descent, and is now currently trying to flatline, and that is a very good sign. Why? Well, that just allows and gives more room for the price to try to continue up higher, which will inevitably cause the weekly 10 SMA to flatline and eventually slowly start to curl back up higher to restart a nice uptrend. And again, I'm saying it's a reset of an uptrend because again, we're still consolidating, right? We're still very much consolidating right underneath or at this 101.50 resistance level. And obviously currently now, after today's price action, it is still a support level, but there's still always that chance that we can see a slight dip below it, turning it back into a resistance level. So we can be seeing constant switches of it being a support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, and vice versa, and on and on and on, right? So again, that's the beauty of consolidation here. And obviously this upper range here between 101.50 and 107 of this overall macro bull flag is very heavy with supply. How do we know this? Well, multiple times we have tried to establish this 101.50 to 107 range. We've seen constant selling that eventually broke the price below 101.50 and eventually saw a nice big push lower, right? We saw this 2 times during the entire formation of this bull flag. And obviously over here as well, where we've seen the price just endlessly consolidating for, let's see, about 5 months or so before, a little over 4 months, right? Over 4 months, maybe 4.5 months here, before it began to move down again and have a nice large pullback, right? So again, this is something that, you know, this stock is very wary of, that it does know that there's a lot of supply around this 101.50 to 107 area, and that's the reason why I really want to look at it this week from a technical perspective, because again, not just because of the fact that the overall healthcare industry, the healthcare sector and the medical tech or MedTech sector is having a very nice relative strength moment here, but simply because of the fact that the price is really trying to consolidate at these upper ranges, even if seen here on these 3 weekly candlesticks, right? We've gotten major whiplash here as the price did a complete U-turn after trying to stay within this range, or at the very least try to get back up to this 107 resistance level. But again, just this attempts alone, right? Just these 3 attempts alone clearly indicate to me that, hey, bulls are really trying to absorb all the supply over here and try to kick out the sellers, and they're really trying to make sure that the price consolidates enough for the price to be able to use 105.50 as a nice support level to launch away from, and in order to come back to retest this 107 resistance level. And if you do get a nice 4th retest, so here, if you guys wonder why I'm saying 4th retest, and you might be saying, hey, I see multiple retests here, well, I'm just talking about the general area, right? So if I take my brush out here, so this is the first area, second area, and this entire area here is a 3rd retest area. And so obviously if you get a nice 4th retest area, right, and this is what I mean, right? If you get a nice 4th retest here at this 107 level, there's a good chance that we can see a nice bigger breakout to the upside, and overall a nice all-time high move. And this will now bring us to the monthly time frame, right? And based on the Fibonacci extension tool that I've actually used for, well, I haven't used it in a long time, but I've used it in the report, and I gave you guys my specific targets using that Fibonacci extension targets, right? I am looking for a maximum ideal target of about 123 on the stock, if it's able to maintain a nice steady uptrend, a nice low volume steady uptrend over 107 and higher. All right, so that's what the Fibonacci extension tool has told me so far. Since again, it's one of those tools where it might be useful because of the fact that there really is no information from the past, from its history here. Once we get into these new all-time high areas, right? So again, it all boils down to how the price will react at the potential 4th retest, if it even goes there. But again, as I've stated a couple minutes ago, the entire healthcare sector and the medtech industry has been seeing relative strength, right? Individualized relative strength compared to the overall market, and we're starting to see a more money rotation in towards these value areas, right? The defensive sectors and more of the value groups, right? So BSX should be a great beneficiary of that in the upcoming weeks, maybe in the upcoming months, maybe into next year, right? Who knows? And if that occurs, right, BSX again should have a lot of wiggle room to hit the 110s and eventually that ideal target that I've mentioned in the report as well, using my Fib extension tool towards this 123 level. Okay. All right, hey, what's up, guys? I see a lot more people coming in now. Awesome. So you guys missed out on some very good valuable information regarding the overall markets, and obviously this ticker here, BSX, which is the official swing trading idea in this week's report. But that is completely fine because again, once I'm done with the stream, the replay will be automatically uploaded to the channel, so you guys can always watch, which again I highly recommend you guys do before tomorrow. But yeah, that is it for BSX. And last but not least, I want to go over one single ticker from this week's MM list, or what I like to call the momentum mentions list. My bad. Momentum mentions list is what I meant to say. So ILMN was a ticker that I've been focusing on since last week, and well, there is every reason why you should be. Well, there's a lot of reasons actually that you guys should be focusing on this ticker as well, because, well, this is yet another potential beneficiary of the overall love that the value and defensive sectors and groups have been receiving for the past, again, 2.5 to 3 weeks. And ILMN is one of those tickers that have been getting some great love. And obviously ILMN had its individual moment where the earnings reaction is what caused a new uptrend to appear for the price here, and a very nice reversal after a pretty catastrophic move down for the past like 3 to 4 years. So again, if this is the start of a potential new longer term trend, you know, I'm happy for the stock in this company, right? So now from a technical perspective, I am focusing on this one because just look at how great this weekly bull flag looks like, right? So BSX was great enough already, right? But from a potential reversal trade, right? ILMN is just showing us and giving us a very nice potential tight momentum bull flag here in between 116 to 124. And notice, guys, here, look at this. Notice how the consolidation. Hey, welcome guys, welcome in. Make sure you guys smash the like button down below. So notice how the price is tightening at the upper ranges of the overall lows and highs of the earnings weekly candlestick here, right? And instead of completely breaking back down or just completely erasing the gains made of this large, very bullish candlestick here on the weekly time frame, it has been slowly for the past 2 weeks and 1 day, including today, which is today so far, consolidating tightly at the upper ranges, again from 116 to 124. So it's a very clear signal and indication that the buyers have full control of the stock still, even after the overall reaction from its earnings week, and it continues to want to see a higher highs and the next potential second leg up higher to fully give us a nice longer term reversal back to the upside after years of catastrophic downtrends, right? So again, I think ILMN is, especially since for the last, let's see, about 2.5 years or so, right? It's been basically basing from 90 to all the way up into 151.50 from this entire very large price range, right? We've seen the overall average volume on the weekly time frame as well increasing during this entire period, right? So again, here, let me indicate it for you guys. Just from here all the way up into now, right? So just take a look at the volume bars from here all the way to here, right? We've seen the average volume line, this oscillating orange line, increasing, right? Just in this time period alone. So ILMN could definitely be in a larger accumulation phase, and if this is what was needed to finally cause the upside and eventually redeem the overall downtrend that this company has been seeing for the past like 5 years or so now, 5 years at this point, I think we might be on the precipice of that, right? So again, ILMN, we've been looking at this in the MM list of the CFO Swinger Watch Report for the second week now, and again, there has been every reason to have it on the MM list for a second week. Okay, so please keep this on your watch list. Make sure you guys have an alert set up over 124, since that will be the official breakout point or breakout entry point for you guys if you guys are interested in taking this name. But yeah, that is it for tonight, guys. All right, so again, as a quick summary, we went over the overall markets and as to the reasons why I was absolutely on point with that daily 50 SMA and my overall analysis on how the markets will react in the future for any potential retest at that daily 50 SMA on ticker symbol SPY. And then we went over pretty kind of in a deep dive way on the technical analysis for BSX, and then we went over ILMN. So again, make sure you guys watch the replay if you guys are just joining in now. But again, if you guys have been watching me from beginning to the end of the stream, and if you guys enjoyed, and most importantly, if you guys found any information that will be potentially applicable to your trading, especially into tomorrow or for the rest of this week, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. But most importantly, if you guys aren't subscribers to the channel yet, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button down below, because this channel just hit 600 subs. So there's 600 of you guys here on this channel, and we're so close to getting that 1,000 mark on this channel. So again, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you guys aren't subscribed yet. I think we're at 601 subscribers too right now, so that's amazing to see how much this channel has grown in just this year alone. I think we doubled our subscribers in this channel this year, so that's amazing to see. But anyways, if you guys really enjoyed everything that you guys heard tonight, and if you guys really want to keep up with what I do here on the channel, and if you guys really are intrigued and kind of want to learn more about the CFO Swinger Watch Report that I write up every single weekend, after hours of research and after hours of typing as well, make sure you guys look at that description box down below and check out that second link. Again, it's the second link down below in the description box. All right, so again, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button down below, and again, if you do subscribe, hit that notification bell as well, as to be reminded when I am live, which is again will be on Mondays and Wednesdays, or when I have uploaded a new video. All right. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time on Wednesday at the same time at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for watching and joining me tonight, and have a great rest of your night.